I'm over the moon for him. I'm buzzing, honestly. He's such a professional guy. He seems like a real shy boy. He talks well beyond his years.
Yeah.
And you can tell that he's a top professional. He doesn't take his talent or where he's gotten himself to in his career so far for granted. He reminds me a bit of, like a young Lampard, Gerrard type character where he really takes on the responsibility of being one of the best young midfielders in world football seriously, and he doesn't want to cut a single corner. So I'm really happy for him. He wants to give himself the best chance of reaching his full potential. Normally, when you match the talent with that attitude, you will always see success pretty much more often than not. So I think that's what we're going to see with Jude. I like that he's gone to Madrid as well. Originally, I said that I wanted him to see him back in England. But I think it's good that he's decided to go there. It's good to see a young English player go abroad at the beginning of his career and do it the other way around, because you have to think at some point you're going to see him in the Premier League, and probably going here and getting so much experience in different leagues abroad will just mean that we'll see a much more kind of experienced and more accomplished Jude Bellingham in the Premier League at a later time.
You just can't fail to be more impressed with this young man every time you see him. He's 19, he spent 3 years in Germany.
He's going to learn Spanish really quickly, isn't he?
Quicker than you.
Just to annoy me.
He's a regular for England, he's played in major tournaments, he's now signed for one of the biggest clubs in the world. He's younger than all my 3 kids, and yet they're still telling me, Dad, the milk's out of date. I'm like, the milk's out of date, you go and buy some new milk. He's not, this is a guy that's doing everything for himself. And I'm sort of segueing into that because there was an interview with him, or part of this interview that we played early in the week, when he talked about going back to England and how, these are not his words, but it would have been easy for him to do that. They're my words, I'm paraphrasing, because there have been lots of people who wanted Jude Bellingham. But he said, I wanted to test myself. Not that going back to England wasn't testing him, but there was more of a comfort zone. Yeah. Closer to friends, closer to family. And he said, I wanted to test myself at the biggest club in the world. I wanted to make that move. And I thought to myself, do you know what? This guy, just the desire to go out there and be a better player at that age is quite incredible. And I think for all these reasons, plus his talent, and I've said this before, many players I think have gone into the Bernabeu and crumbled. Yep. I just don't see this happening. Benzema, I'm not talking about crumbling. Benzema had stick, Bale had stick. Yep. I'm sure Zidane had stick at some point.
Ronaldo had stick.
Ronaldo had lots of stick, whistles.
Yep.
You're going to get it, so you need to be able to handle it. And I think Jude Bellingham, even at 19, can handle the pressures that Real Madrid and their fans and their expectations are going to throw at him.
Even with your bitter ways, you've got to admire him, Robbo.
Absolutely. Bitter ways? I don't know what you're talking about, Dan. I mean, he said it himself. I can do everything a midfield player can do. So you can play me in several different roles. I get annoyed when you talk about an attacking midfield player, a holding midfield player, a player that comes in off the sidelines. A midfield player should be able to do everything. He should be able to defend. He should have a good understanding of the defensive side of the game. He should be able to pick a pass out. He should be able to run forward. He should be a good athlete as well. Jude Bellingham can do all those things with so much quality. I saw him play for Dortmund just after the first game after the Christmas break. Went out and did the Dortmund, I think it was a Freiburg game. And he was head and shoulders above everybody else on the pitch. It was a magnificent midfield performance. He scored a goal. He made a goal. He just ran the game. Hopefully, he can do that at Real Madrid because they've got some young players there. Tchouaméni, who hasn't quite done it, and Camavinga, who's, again, I think only 19. So that should, at some point, be a magnificent midfield for Real Madrid.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.